So we're here to talk about a particular piece of work. It's about how we outshone the obvious for one of our clients, Tombola. I'll do the big hello joke. So big hello from me, Tim, CCO and founder of Meanwhile, and Lucy, head of production at Meanwhile.
Hello.
So we here to talk about a film that we made for Tombola and how by outshining the obvious we help them stand up in a very competitive, very saturated category. So we'll start by playing that film, hopefully.
Your life is full of times like this.
Oh yeah.
The gaps between the good stuff.
Okay.
Like killing time in waiting rooms. It's not long until you've had enough. At the dentist getting sleepy. MOT should have been seen at 10, but it's now 3. But none from waiting patiently. David, it's time for some Tombola. Working on that flat pack.
Open for fun.
Been bulking up the 6-pack.
Open for fun.
Grounded on the runway.
Open for fun.
Paddling on your staycay.
Open for fun.
Bingo 90,
Oh,
while your car
yeah.
gets made all shiny. Deal or no deal's exciting, so your ready meal is piping. Waterproof, on the loose, while you get a back tattoo. Tea break, face break, double screening ad break.
Hey, put that down and pay attention. Honestly. Chorus.
It's time for some Tombola, still working on that flat pack.
Open for fun.
Problems with the jetpack,
Open for fun.
painted in the buff.
Open for fun.
Juggling with sharp stuff.
Open for fun.
Actually, maybe don't open for fun right now, because of the axes and that. Clap solo. Time for some Tombola. Bit samosa, big granola, pizzaiola, J1 viola, Venezuela, a yoga poser, gorgonzola, Simon Cola, stroller, bowler, polar, science experiment, beach clona, Mitzi Cola, play Tombola.
Yes! I've won £11!
All right, calm down. It's just a bit of bingo.
Open for fun.
Stop it. Do that. Just to sort of touch on, I guess, like the subject of outshining the obvious is like why we created the agency that we've created and why James has just talked about all of the things that he's just talked about. I think it's always been ingrained in our approach and why we do what we do, but I think it's also ingrained in Manchester as a city and like the approach to everyone in this city to how, you know, throughout history has approached its development and its culture. So I think it's incredibly important to do the sort of work that we're talking about. Something we always try and do for our clients, and finding that little bit of something that's gonna push us over the edge or make them memorable, make them stand out. And it's kind of like we call it looking for what is Meanwhile about a particular project, or whether that's, you know, knitting post box toppers or sticking inflatables to billboards. It's finding that extra little bit of that extra nugget that is going to push them over the edge and make them, like I say, make your clients memorable and stand out. When we started working with Tombola, it became abundantly clear really quickly that they needed to stand out. They like operate in the gambling sector, which is incredibly competitive, and kind of like everyone's offering a little bit of a version of the same thing. So it's incredibly important to stand out. But also, as a business, they were investing a huge amount of money in media and not getting a lot of brand recognition for it. Their brand awareness was like very, very low for the amount of money they were spending. And it came down to them people not really knowing what they stood for, not really what they as a brand were about. So in one slide, I'm just going to skip to the chase. This obviously took a lot more work to get to than one slide, but we ended up creating this platform for them called, bless you, called Open for Fun. That is like, basically we interrogated the business and found out what that's all about. And the little thing that separates them is like they're like Tombola is just like low stakes fun. Like nobody's going to get rich playing Tombola, but at the same time nobody's going to lose a shitload of money. It's like, as gambling brands go, it's very low stakes. You play from 2p. It's just that little bit of fun in your pocket. And as we sort of came to sort of a little bit of fun in your pocket in life's in between moments. So Open for Fun was born, but then it's like, well, okay, how do we bring that to life? And we decided to do it by writing a song, which, in our naivety, turns out making a film with the original song at its heart is fraught with challenges. And starting with, least of all, huge embarrassment. So I think Outshine the Obvious is important, but it can get you into hot water, as when you have to go to Sunderland on a cold Monday morning and sing a song to a client you've only known for about 3 weeks and hope that they will like it. Actual footage of me in the room singing. So that was a first obstacle. My embarrassment and our embarrassment was a first obstacle that we had to get over. But I guess like this is where it really comes to the crux, and what Outshine the Obvious is about is like, well, why write a song in the first place? Why write our own song in the first place? And I think James touched on this a lot throughout his presentation. There comes a point in every project, like anything that you do, where there's that moment where you have to decide whether you want to take the easy way out or make things hard on yourself and make something that really stands out, really, well, in my opinion, matters. Like we've been doing it throughout our careers. It's like, again, it's why we made the agency that we've made, is just to, when you're at that fork in the road and you get to the point where you go, oh, this seems a bit hard, then that's the moment, that's the path to take, because it just leads to the greatest reward, leads to the greatest reward for the people that work for us. Like, it's funner to do that most of the time, Lucy. There's moments when it doesn't seem that fun, but one of our producers was sticking woolen pom-poms onto our postbox toppers at midnight to try and get the Netflix thing over the line. But it's sort of, those things ultimately but just become very rewarding. But importantly, thank you, 5 minutes. I shouldn't have done the 2-minute film. But it becomes rewarding, and it's what leads to results for clients. It makes them stand out. It gives them the point of difference. It gives them that edge. And like I say, we could have taken an existing song, rewritten the lyrics, but our client would be basking in the associated glory of someone else's fame, not their own. So we wanted to create something that was theirs, basically. So if it's the originality of the song that makes it really special. Next point is kind of like at that point then we wrote a version of the song. It's pretty good, and we could have carried on and written carried on writing our own version of the song. But again, that sort of collaborating with people that are gonna take you out of your comfort zone, don't work within your inner circle, don't work in the agency, don't work necessarily in the industry itself, will come in and give you a different point of view, give you a different way of thinking, basically, and can help take away from the obvious answer. Like the demo that we got back from these guys, the Midnight Beast, not him, he wasn't there, just these two. Was just nowhere near what we would have done. Like, came at a completely different angle. They brought their own thing to it, and it was amazing. If I had a bit more time, I'll play you the demo because it leads to my next point. But the next point is that the demo that they wrote was amazing, but as we came to realise, almost none of it we could use, because again, in our naivety and ambition, we realised that we were writing a 2-minute film, a 2-minute song for a gambling client. There's a lot more scenes in a 2-minute film than a 30-second film, and every one of those scenes sort of was like fraught with compliance issues, as we found out, didn't we, Lucy?
Yeah. A highlight of this project was a 2-hour call me and James did with the legal department, where about 90% of the lyrics was strike through, red. We couldn't do it. But with a quick
about
wait
a
for your
about a week, 2 weeks from production.
Yeah. We had like waiting for a colonoscopy though, change it to waiting for an MOT. A few little tweaks and we're like, right, we're getting somewhere, and like we made it happen.
Yeah, but again, it's that sort of extra little, like, again, we could have taken the easy way out, and actually it led to some of the best things. And there was like little moments where I was like, oh, you can't, the guy with his face broken, he can't have his legs broken, because then he's trapped on the sofa gambling, but he can have his face broken, and that's okay. And then it was stuff like the whole clap solo thing wouldn't have existed if it stayed how it was written originally. But for me, it's like it's the best bit. So always reaching, always pushing, just leads to the best possible outcomes.
Yeah, so the guys had this amazing creative idea, and then obviously I was tasked to sort of make it, as we do. Yeah, love the challenge in production. So obviously you've normally got your sort of stages here everyone knows about, the creative development, production partners, pre-production, shoot, post, but a lot of this was quite merged together, as Tim said, because it was such a creative, collaborative process. And then we decided to add in write and produce a song in the middle of it, just for an added challenge. So yeah, I mean, we did team up quite early on with Blink. They produced this for us, and we were really collaborative with them. Like, things were happening at the same time. So in the pre-production phase, in the recce's, the location we found just randomly had an aeroplane set there, so we added in like Grounded on the Runway, and that worked into the song. There was just, the whole thing was really linked together. It wasn't, I guess, sort of the usual order.
Yeah,
just
just
to push
always
the creative as
at
much
all
as possible.
points look for the possibility to push things and find extra little little moments that you can build onto it. Who knew that there would be a plane in a studio in Serbia that you could make something from? So always be open to it.
So that was fun. So yeah, and 8 weeks. We had 8 weeks to turn that round, including building the song, which I'm really proud of, that we pulled that together, and I think we did a pretty good job. Yeah, we shot it in Serbia because of the time of the year, the weather, and we had a sort of multi-use location where we could just shoot a load of stuff for sort of music video vibes. We had our jetpack guy, and the casting was also really funny for this because we had to listen to a load of people like sing the streets, and like, because they had to be able to have like the musicality and the comedy, and that was really fun.
And getting it to record a demo beforehand so we could lip sync on the shoot and everything.
Yeah, we had a director duo as well, so that we had split units, so we were shooting all the sort of Colorama stuff at the same time as some of the other scenes, just so like on the 3 days we just hammered it and shot a load of stuff basically. But we had monitors of the 2 sets, as you can see at the top, and yeah, we just smashed through it, and it was really cool. I think the pre-prod was obviously really hard with the song and everything, but because we had that locked, it was more, the shoot was actually pretty cool vibes. It was like a music video, syncing to it. I mean, we did one 17-hour day, which was a bit nuts, but yeah, we're really proud of it in the end. And
another interesting compliance note, Polar Bear, who's now in our office, showing the face, no, showing the claws, perfectly fine. So
yeah, there were some weird photos going to like the compliance team on set, like the naked and the buff guy, that we were like waiting for someone in an office somewhere to look at this naked man on an easel. It was quite funny.
But yeah, just at every moment we could, and again, just sort of always do this, always look for the extra little bit. Like, I think it starts at creative, but it doesn't have to end there. It can move into the next. I always say sort of like production is like a huge part of the creative process. Like, it's like the creative process doesn't stop, and we just always looked for how we can push it, or like more and more. How can we do more? How can we wring more out of it? And like, we do that on all our jobs, not just this one.
Yeah, because we were also maybe going to just do like a 60-second and a 30-second ad, but we were like, no, we want the song. We pushed for the song, and it was like, we love it.
100%, yeah. So yeah, just to wrap up, sort of like, if like just like say, if something feels difficult, then it's worth it. Like, that's the test. That's the litmus test. If it doesn't feel difficult, then there's probably something else that you can pour into it, and there's something else you can do. And I think it's sort of like, again, it's sort of, if it was easy, everyone would be doing it. And I think you can't do one of these talks right without getting AI in there somewhere. But like, yeah, if it was easy, everyone would do it, or probably getting AI to do it for them. And I think there's the gap now is for this sort of creative thinking. This is the sort of thing that isn't the low-hanging fruit, and it's not the stuff that AI can do. Like, AI has important roles to play, but like in that thinking, in that outshining the obvious, AI is naturally going to get to the obvious answer. Like, people who are stretched for time, who have a million briefs on at the same time, they're going to have to go for the obvious answer. But give yourself the time and give yourself the freedom to do something special, and it's well worth it, we think, anyway. So.